गंधार्विक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट महाभगवत श्री गोरक्षदास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िया गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगा माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। जय श्री गंगा माता गोस्वामिनी की जय। गंगा माता गोस्वामिनी की जय। तृतीय शुभ आविर्भाव तिथि की जय। श्री गंगा देवी की जय। गंगा देवी आविर्भाव तिथि की जय। श्री is today called what? Ganga गंगा दशहरा की जय। श्री गंगा पूजा की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो। Hare Krishna. Okay, let's do a short Mangala Charan and then begin. Where is it? अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्रीसिद्धान्तसरस्वतीति विदितो कोरियगुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभातगगने योगोरसङ्कीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलोदरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवनिमान् कृष्णप्रेमसुधाब्धिगाहनसुखां प्रादात् प्रभुं तं भजे। वन्दे भक्तिविनोदं श्रीगौरशक्तिस्वरूपकं भक्तिशास्त्रज्ञसम्राजां राधारससुधानिधिं। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वृषभानुसुतान्वितवामतनुं यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतां मुरलीकलगीतविनोरपरं Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunja Vidum Smara Gaura Gadadhara Kelikalam Bhava Gaura Gadadhara Pakshachara Shrinu Gaura Gadadhara Charu Katham Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunja Vidum Tavai vasmi, na jivami tvaya vinam, iti vigyaya devi tvam nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay, kshiptascha kama ditaranga madhe, kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna, vrinde namaste charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'd like to um, let's recite a pranam mantra to Ganga Devi because today is Ganga Devi's appearance day, right? So this is from the Sadhanamrita Chandrika. A lot of our extra pranam mantras in the Mangala Charan are from this book, Sadhanamrita Chandrika, which I think was compiled, or even many verses written by Siddha Krishnadas Babaji, if I remember correctly. Um, Such a beautiful verse. Okay, first, yeah. Navadviparam, sorry, Navadviparama Prakara Kusumamo Davalitam Spuradratna Shreni Chitatata Sutirtavaliyutam Harer Gaurangasya Tulacharanarenukshitatanum Samudyat Premormi Tumula Hari Sankirtana Rasai Prabhu Krida Patrim Amrita Rasagatrim Rishi Ghata Shiva Brahmena sorry Shiva Brahmendradi Dita Mahatma Mukharam Lasat Kinjal Kambho Jani Madhupa Garbho Rukarunam Aham Vande Ganga Aganikara Bhanga Jalakanam. So let's go through the meaning. Obeisances to Ganga Devi. Let me just look from Groves. Okay. So I'm gonna look at the translation every now and then just to so I can figure out the Sanskrit. But okay, so Navadviparama Prakara Kusuma Moda Valitam. That means um, Navadip Arama means groves or gardens. Prakara Kusuma means the many groups of kusuma, flowers. Amoda, the fragrance, Valitam, enveloped. So Navadip is enveloped by the fragrance, by the amoda of Prakara Kusuma, of multitudes of flowers from Navadip's groves. Spuradaratna Shreni Chitta Tata Sutirta Valiyutam. And let's see, I'm just looking at the translation. Okay. And Yutam, she is adorned with or endowed with, uh, let's just say adorned with. She is adorned with Spurad Ratna Shreni, shining. Spurad means like shining. Ratna, Ratna means jewels. Shreni means rows, rows of jewels. I don't know what Chitta means here. But on her banks, Sutirta Yutam. And on her banks are many beautiful tirtas. How do we translate it here? It said, um, adorned with rows of shining jewels on her banks and dotted with numerous holy places. Then, Harer Gaurangasya Tula Charanare Nukshitatanum. Her body, her tanu, her body is ukshita. What's ukshita mean? Sprinkled. Ukshita. Her body is ukshita, sprinkled with the renu, with the dust of the incomparable feet, the matchless feet, Atula Charana, of Hari Gauranga. Gauranga Hari, Gaur Hari. So let's, following the same word order. Hari Gauranga's matchless feet, dust, sprinkled body. How do I say here? Her body is sprinkled with the dust of Sri Gauranga Hari's matchless feet. And Samudyat Premormi Tumula Hari Sankirtana Rasai. Samudyat means rising prem waves. So the rising waves of prem. Tumula. Tumula means tumultuous. It's almost the same in English. Tumula, tumultuous. Tumultuous Hari Sankirtan Rasai. So she is resounding with the Hari Sankirtan Ras, which raises the waves of prem, something like that. Let's see what it says. And she resounds with tumultuous waves of prem arising from the ras of Hari Sankirtan. This whole, all 8 lines, this is all one sentence. Every line is like an adjective, and then finally the subject is here at the very end. Aham Vande Gangam. I offer obeisances to that Ganga. Okay, let's continue on. Prabhu Kriyada Patrim. So she is the receptacle of the Lord's pastimes. So she's like the playground, the vessel for the Lord's playful pastimes. Prabhu Krida Patrim. And Amrita Rasa Gatrim. Her gatri, her body, is made up of nectarian ras, ambrosial ras. Her form is made of ambrosial ras. Yes. Okay. And now this Rishi Ghata Shiva Brahmin. Okay. And her Mahatma, her glories are Mukaram, are spoken, are like, very enthusiastically spoken by Idita. What's Idita mean? Idita. I think Idita means extolled. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, her glories are extolled, Idita, by the rishis, by the multitudes of rishis, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and so on. Lasat kinjal kambo jani madhupagor boru. Okay, so let's see, what does it say? Her saffron lotuses swarm with. She appears radiant. She's lasat. Lasat means radiant. Um, her saffron lotuses swarm with honeybees. Okay, so kinjalka means means saffron. It's like in the middle of a lotus flower. There's like saffron filaments Those are called, and lots of times Kinjalka just means saffron, but it's, yeah, that's what it specifically refers to. And then Ambhojani refers to lotus. So saffron lotuses, Kinjalka Ambhojani, Madhupa. Madhupa means honey drinkers. In other words, bees. It's another, there's lots of ways to say bees in Sanskrit. My name is one way. Madhukar means bee, Madhupa means bee, Madhusuran means bee. Um, oh God, there's like 10 different words for bee at least. Um, Shatpada, I think, is one. Um, I don't know, there's so many. But yeah, Brahmar. So her she is resplendent, and bees are like her saffron lotuses are swarming with bees. What does garbhoru mean? Garbha means womb. Uru means profuse. Huh. Garbha uru. I don't know. Garbha usually means womb, right? And uru means profuse, and then karunam, compassion. Anyways, let's just say she's filled with great compassion, but I don't know. I have to look up this one more closely. Then aham vande gangam. I offer prayers, vandanam. Also, it means obeisances. Vande means a lot of different things, but yeah, obeisances are offer prayers, are worship also. I worship, I offer prayers, I offer obeisances to that Ganga. Aga Nikara Banga Jalakanam. Agha refers to like sins. Nikara means the multitudes of sins. Banga, who destroys. Jala Kanam, just a kana, just a drop of her water, destroys um, multitudes of sins. It's not saying even just a drop of her water destroys. Jal kana. So, isn't that such, let me just read this English just to. So, she is enveloped by the fragrance of multitudes of flowers from Navadvip's groves, adorned with rows of shining jewels on her banks, and dotted with numerous holy places. Her body is sprinkled with the dust of Sri Gauranga Hari's matchless feet, and she resounds with tumultuous waves of prem arising from the ras of Hari Sankirtan. She is the vessel for the Lord's playful pastimes. Her form is made of ambrosial ras, and her glories are extolled by sages, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and others. She appears radiant. Her saffron lotuses swarm with honeybees, and she is filled with profuse compassion. I offer my obeisance to Ganga Devi, whose drops of water destroy multitudes of sins. Try to memorize this verse. Maybe I'll do a memorization later on today. Not, yeah, let's see. Think maybe in the evening time I can do a memorization thing because I want to learn this verse. And as I've mentioned before, the best way, the most effective and long-lasting way to memorize a verse is to try to explain it. That's why I just tried doing that right now. Uh, even yeah. Okay. So let's see all who is here. Dandvat pranams, Rukmini Didi, Nari Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, uh, Yashoda Didi, oh Manini Radha Didi, Haribol, and Brian and Chatamai Mataji, Haribol, and Ganga Mataji, and whoever else is watching on YouTube and Facebook. I'm guessing Rohini Nandan Prabhu is there, Indira Mataji, maybe Raseshwari Mataji, and all the devotees watching in the future, Sachi Devi and Revati Didi, and uh, yeah, all other devotees, Jaidev Prabhu, Haribol. Oh, my brother is there, Haribol. Krishna Murari, Haribol. Okay. Oh, and Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu, Haribol. Yeah, I think today I'm going to write a draft for a post for Vine of Devotion. Because I try to write a post the day before each Ekadashi, although I missed last time. And the topic is going to be the way to most quickly, effectively, um, and easily learn a verse. And the way to do that is to try to teach it. I've just been finding this out recently. Like the, there are three verses that we learned after my program, like after the program, after I finished Jaidvani, I tried to, even though I didn't fully understand the verse, I tried to explain it. I tried to figure it out right there. And those three verses I have memorized now, and I didn't have to go through that much effort. Like I didn't have to, and it really stuck. And so I have some ideas about how to figure out what the Sanskrit words mean, and then different ideas of how you can make like pacts with friends to memorize verses. So that's what I'm going to write about today. Um, so today is the appearance day of Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī. I haven't read this yet. There's a class that my Gurudev gave, and also I found there's Stephen Knapp, his website. He gives all sorts of details. Also, there's Srila Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja's glorification in this wonderful book, Sri Chaitanya and His Associates. So there's a lot to read today. We're not going to have time to get through everything. I took way too long trying to explain that Ganga verse, but okay. Let's start with my Gurudev's class. So he gave this class, I think, January 2000. I don't know where, but there is a beautiful girl in East Bengal named Shachi Devi, and she was the daughter of the king of Putia. From the beginning of her life, she heard about Lord Krishna, and from that time onward, she gave her entire heart to him. From the time she was about 5 years old, she used to worship Krishna, sing to Krishna, play with Krishna, and do everything with him. When she was about 16 years old, she became maddened for him. Shachi Devi was not only beautiful, but she was very intelligent and used to study Sanskrit and Bengali. Her father and mother were worried for her marriage, but she totally refused to marry. She told her father, "My marriage has already been done. There's no need of another marriage. Don't be worried. I will go to Vrindavan and I will meet my beloved there." She's only 16 years old, remember. She took her deities and was ready to go to Vrindavan alone, on foot, which was a 3,000 to 4,000 mile journey. There were no airplanes or any modern conveniences in those days. She was preparing to go by foot, but her father arranged everything for her travel. Having come to Vrindavan and being completely infatuated and controlled by the desire to meet Krishna, she began searching for him everywhere, wandering here and there. She would go to Vangshivat and ask that Vangshivat banyan tree, "Where is Krishna? Can you tell me where is Krishna?" There is a disciple of a very exalted devotee named Haridas who is in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami. He was always chanting and remembering Krishna. He was also giving classes, just as I give in the evenings, and all the Vrajvasis and saints and sadhus in our line would attend. So Shachi also used to hear the classes, and she was attracted. She told Haridas, she said, "I am taking your shelter. Please give me initiation, otherwise I will die. I want to see Krishna, and I want to serve Krishna and Radha." Hearing this, he was so much happy. Though he had never wanted to initiate anyone, he initiated that beautiful princess. Haridas then gave Shachi Devi instructions on how to chant, how to remember, how to practice in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami, how Krishna is her beloved, and how she would be able to serve Radhika. He told her that her guru was a manifestation of Śrīmati Vishaka Devi and Sri Rupa Manjari. Sri Haridas did not want her to be alone. He told her that there was an elderly lady of about 50 years who was very mature in Hari Bhajan. He placed her in the hands of that devotee, just as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu placed the hands of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami in the hands of Srila Sarup Damodar. After her initiation, Shachi Devi was always weeping for Lord Krishna. She used to chant more than 100,000 names, 64 rounds of Harinam daily, and she was totally absorbed. Her guru never gave her any bhajan kutir. He never gave her any small house, or room, or hut. Rather, he told her, "Oh, you should arrange." Sorry, he told her, "Oh, you should arrange this yourself. I have nothing to do with these things. You should manage that part of your life." Shachi Devi used to live in a broken down temple on the Yamuna Ghat, and there she would perform her sadhan bhajan. She never made any arrangement for taking prasad, but rather she would go from door to door, taking very little madhukari. She would eat only 1/4 of one chapati in a meal, not taking all or even half of it. Everyone loved her and wanted to give her foodstuffs, but she never accepted them. She never wore nice clothing. She wore only worn and torn white cloth, and she was satisfied by this. She had no electricity and no facilities at all. By continually hearing and developing her Krishna consciousness, she became totally renounced. When she became 25 years old, her Gurudev told her, "It is time for you to go to Radha Kund, to the place of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, and do bhajan like him, and also take that nice elderly devotee." I forgot. Did it mention what that elderly lady's name was that he told her to take shelter of before? I don't think so. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's just a detail. Okay. Sorry, guys. Uh, okay. For the next 25 years, Shachi Devi remained in the renounced order, doing madhukari, begging, and somehow maintaining her life. There was no problem in maintaining herself, and therefore she used to perform bhajan day and night. She did not sleep even at night. After 25 years, her guru, now very old, called her and said, "You should now go to Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, near the Gambhira of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then remain there for some time. There, you will become siddha, you'll become perfect. So don't delay. Also, I would like you to renovate the place of Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. At present, it is in ruins. No one is taking care of it, and practically no one knows about its existence. So go and discover it. Make a very simple temple there, worship there, live there, and take the prasadam of Jagannath." And when I was in Puri, I remember it was renovated again because it had also gotten dilapidated. And yeah, nobody knew about it. It's just right next to Shweta Ganga. But now they've finally renovated it. And yeah, you can have darshan there. That elderly lady was now gone. And therefore, Shachi Devi went there alone. Somehow, she came in the same way that Sri Sanatan Goswami came from Vrajmandal to Jagannath Puri, traveling for many days on foot. You cannot imagine how she became. You cannot imagine how she came. It's a long distance. Braj to Jagannath Puri. Curious how many thousands of miles is it? Let's look that up really quick. Let's see. Uh, Google Maps. See if I could just type in Vrindavan to Puri. Let's see if it mentioned. Yeah, there it is. It is 1,638 kilometers to walk from Vrindavan to Puri. Wow, 1,638 kilometers by foot. You cannot imagine how she came. Once in Puri, Shachi Devi discovered the place of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. She made a hut of leaves and began to live there, chanting and remembering Lord Krishna. In the evenings, she gave classes on Ras Panchadhyay, the 5 chapters in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10th canto regarding Lord Krishna's Leelas with the gopis of Vrindavan. One second. Okay. Sometimes she spoke on Venugit, and sometimes on other very important subjects of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. When giving class, tears would come to Shachi Devi's eyes. All the residents of Puri were attracted, and even the king used to come in disguise to hear from her. The king made a proposal. I want to give something to you. I want to build you a nice hut, and I want to give you a donation. Shachi Devi refused the donation and said, I don't want a donation from a king. One day, on Makar Sankranti, millions of Indians were going to take bath in the Ganga, which was hundreds of miles away from Puri. At that time, Shachi Devi made up her mind. She said, I must go to the Ganga to take bath. She made this determination in her mind, and she was going to go, but at midnight she saw, oh, the Ganga is coming. There was a very heavy, roaring current, and as though by magic, she found herself in that Ganga, where millions of persons were taking bath. The current of the Ganga took her to the temple of Lord Jagannath, and then it entered and touched the feet of Jagannath. And then there's a note here, says the Ganga originally came from the feet of Jagannath Dev because he is Krishna himself. When Sri Vamandev took the universe away from Bali Maharaj, his foot went through the universal covering and touched the causal ocean. A drop of that causal ocean thus came into the universe as Ganga. It is also said that Ganga is originally a Saki of Śrīmati Radhika from Goloka Vrindavan. It can therefore be said that Jagannath himself, in the form of the Ganga, had picked up Shachi Devi and brought her to his lotus feet. So that was a note from the editor. Now, she was now there at Lord Jagannath's feet, and the door was closed. No one else was there. In the morning, the priest came, opened the door, and thousands upon thousands of persons came in to take darshan. The priest saw that lady and said, oh, why did you come here? To steal the ornaments of Jagannath? Sachi Devi was absorbed in Krishna, thinking, Krishna is so merciful. Ganga came to me, made me take bath, and her current took me to the lotus feet of Jagannath. She could not answer that priest, however. It is prohibited for a devotee to reveal his or her realizations, and moreover, no one would have believed her. She was thus taken to jail as if she were a thief. During the night, Jagannath gave a dream to the king and was also, Jagannath gave a dream to the king and also to the prominent pujari. Shachi Devi would now become famous as Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani, or Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī, due to her being carried by the Ganga. Jagannath told them, go at once and beg forgiveness. Bring Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani in a golden chariot with drums and all other paraphernalia to make a royal reception and royal procession. Also, you should become a disciple of that lady, along with your priests and all other prominent persons. Wow, Jagannath Dev gave that order to the king in a dream. The king awoke and at once went to the jail with golden chariots, a large crowd, and a royal reception. He brought her to her cottage and said, Jagannath has told me, you should go and take shelter of that devotee. If you do not take initiation from her, I will destroy your entire dynasty. Along with all his counselors and others, he now began to fast and pray. He said, Be pleased to give us initiation. So he began to fast and pray. Be pleased to give us initiation very soon. And Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani replied, my Guru has told me not to do, my Guru has not told me to do this. I don't want to make any disciples. Jagannath then ordered her, for me, to please me, you must make disciples. She then accepted them. The king promised, I will give some land for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and I will make a very good temple there. I know that you have come from your Gurudev for this. So he made a temple, but Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani was always living in the temple of her heart. Her temple was there. She continued to give classes, and all the residents of Puri, as well as the highly elevated devotees, used to attend. One day, while she was absorbed in chanting and remembering the pastimes of Krishna, a Brahman from Jayapur came to her. That Brahman had been serving the deity of Rai Kishore, Sri Krishna himself. Krishna had told that Brahman in a dream, Please take me to Puri and give me to Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani. She will serve me. If you don't do this, I will curse you. You are not rendering proper service. Sometimes you give me offerings and sometimes not. You sometimes give me bath and sometimes not. You are not doing service as you were before. So please go there and give me to her. Otherwise, I will curse you, and your dynasty will also be finished. That Brahman then took the very beautiful Thakurji in a basket and walked on foot for many months until he came to Puri. Now he approached Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani and requested her. He said, Thakurji has come. Please take him and serve him. But she refused and said, I am doing Manasi Seva. That's worship of Radha Krishna by meditation, by mind. I am doing Manasi Seva in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami. I cannot do all this. I have no time to worship with external paraphernalia. The Brahman became very worried and thought, what shall I do? Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani had a tulsi garden. That night, the Brahman left the deity in the midst of her tulsi garden and fled. At 4 the next morning, Rai Kishore, that is Shama Rai, Rajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar, said to Gaṅgāmātā, he said, you are neglecting me. I came to have your service, your love and affection, and you are neglecting me. I'm thirsty. I'm so hungry. So please take me, prepare something and offer that to me. Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani then went to see that deity. Charmed, she took him in her arms. She brought him inside the temple and began worshipping him there. And still now, that Vigraha is there. When the king heard about this, he thought, I am fortunate to be the disciple of this great devotee. All the ladies should try to be like Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani. She never even dreamed of marrying any worldly person. I have come to help you to become a devotee like this. The world is like a fire, a burning forest fire. We have seen such a big fire in Florida. It burned for miles, and the government could not do anything. The burning forest fire of material existence is greater than this, and we are in that fire, and we can never be saved as long as we are in material consciousness. If someone puts ghee in the fire, what will happen? It will become bigger. You will not be able to be saved. The father of Yadu Maharaj, Yayati, had so many very beautiful wives, but he was not satisfied. When he was old, he wanted to take the youthful age of his son, but Yadu Maharaj refused and told him, this life is only meant to serve Krishna. If you were a pure devotee, I would have been very happy to give you my youth. Yayati then asked his second son, Puru. He said, Puru, you are my very dear darling son. Please give me your youth. I want to further taste material pleasure. My thirst has not been quenched. Puru replied, "Oh, father, I came from you, so I'm going to give you my youth." Yayati thus became young, and for many thousands of years he engaged in sense gratification. He was not satisfied, however, and one day he thought, "What silly things am I doing?" He quickly returned his youth to his son, and then left every material consideration and went in the forest. This history shows that the world is a burning fire. The fire in the sea is thousands of times greater than the forest fire, and we are in that fire. We should try. What does that mean? Like when there's an oil spill in the and the oil gets. I think I heard something like that. Then there's that kind of fire on the sea that's like the hottest type of fire possible. Somebody told me that once. Um, we should we should try to know all these. We should try to know all these truths. Don't waste your time. Try to develop your Krishna consciousness. If you are married, there is no harm in that. Along with your wife and children, you should try to be detached. There must be some sense of duty. There must be some sense of duty, but no attachment at all. You should think, I must serve my wife or husband and children because they are eternal servants of Krishna. For this reason, so that they may develop their Krishna consciousness, I should help them. Male devotees should try to become like Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Rupa Goswami. And lady devotees should become like Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani, Janava Thakurani, and Hemalata Thakurani. Sometimes Janava Thakurani exhibited 4 arms. Then there's a note from the editor. We all know that story, right? I'm going to skip that. I'll just read it. Sorry. So Janava Thakurani is the eternal potency of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda has 2 potencies, Janava and Vasudha. The son of Vasudha Devi is the incarnation of Godhead Virabhadra. He was searching for a guru and was recommended to take shelter of Janava Thakurani. But he thought, she is my mother. How can she be my guru? One early morning after passing and just before taking her bath, Janava Thakurani was undressed from the waist up, as was the custom for Indian ladies. Virabhadra saw her in that condition standing by a well and became shy. She immediately manifested 2 more arms, and with them she covered her breasts. Virabhadra then offered his pranam to her and took initiation. He saw with 4 arms. I've heard the story a bit differently also, though. Anyways, I guess it's told in different ways. So don't waste your time. Remain in your positions. And if you are married, that is okay. If you are not married, if you are renounced, that is okay. If you are not renounced, that is okay. Sthane stitam shrutikatam tanuvan manodibir, right? Whatever situation you're in. But hear Harikatha wherever you are and in whatever position you are. Offer pranam to that place where Harikatha is being spoken. Offer pranam to the organizers and offer satsang pranam to the speaker and to the whole audience. Then very soon you will have sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti, and prem bhakti. Try to realize all these things. These are truths. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so there's a little bit more time. Let's hear how Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj explains. We're going to read from his book now. And this is short. This is, I think it was 700 words, so it won't take very long at all. I think less than 10 minutes. So Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī. Within the present state of Bengal lies what was once the kingdom of Sri Naresh Narayan. King Naresh Narayan had a daughter named Shachi. From early childhood, Shachi was a topmost devotee of the Lord. Within a short time, Shachi began her education. At first, she absorbed herself in grammar and poetry. But having become expert in these, she gradually became completely immersed in endlessly studying the scriptures. Even as a young girl, She was always fascinated with Krishna consciousness. As Shachi came of age, all the young boys were charmed by her beauty. But within Shachi's mind, there was not the least attraction for any of the young men, no matter how handsome or rich they were. Her mind was always filled with thoughts of Madan Gopal. Shri Naresh Narayan began to think of arranging for his daughter's marriage. Upon understanding her father's intentions, Shachi told him, "I will not marry a mortal man, born of this world of death." The king and queen wanted to make arrangements to give her hand in marriage, but Shachi Devi did not want to be wed. Always regretting their failure to arrange for their daughter's wedding, in due course of time, the king and queen grew old and passed away. After the passing of the king and queen, the royal succession fell to Shachi. Shachi accepted the responsibilities of governing the kingdom. One day, on the plea of seeing more of the kingdom, Shachi left to visit the holy places of pilgrimage after appointing some relatives to govern in her place. Although she wandered here and there, nowhere could her heart find satisfaction. She decided to seek out a bona fide spiritual master. After much travel, she arrived in Jagannath Puri. One day, after taking darshan of the Jagannath deities, she received an inner message and was inspired to go to Vrindavan. With this, Shachi felt that the moon of her good fortune had arisen. In Vrindavan, she chanced to meet Haridas Pandit, whose single-minded devotion to Gauranga and Nityananda was unsurpassed. Upon seeing the spiritual power and austerity of his divine form, Shachi became filled with ecstasy. After meditating deeply for several days, Haridas Pandit gave Shachi shelter. Shri Shachi fell at the lotus feet of Haridas Pandit, with her eyes pouring tears, and she prayed for his mercy. The Chaitanya Charitamrita gives Haridas Pandit's preceptorial ancestry as follows. So Ananta Acharya was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. His body was always overwhelmed by the ecstasy of Krishna Prem. He was magnanimous and advanced in all respects. Ananta Acharya was a reservoir of all good qualities. No one could estimate how great he was. Pandit Haridas was his beloved disciple. Okay, so now we know the lineage. Goes from Gadadhar Pandit to Ananta Acharya to Haridas Pandit to Shachi Devi, who later became Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī. In order to examine Shachi's qualifications as a disciple, Haridas Pandit said, "It is not possible for the daughter of a king to go to Vrindavan and live as a poor devotee, constantly absorbed in bhajan, with little to eat and no comforts. It will be better for you to stay at home, and worship than go to Vrindavan." Shri Shachi Devi could understand what all this talk was for. She paid no attention to all these words of discouragement. With fierce determination, renunciation, and austerity, she went on with her bhajan and her service to her guru. As she absorbed herself in her austere service, step by step, she renounced her opulent dresses and fine ornaments. One day, Haridas Pandit Goswami said to Shachi Devi, he said, "If you like giving up all pride and fear, you may wander throughout Vraj and practice begging from place to place as a renounced devotee. You have my blessings." Upon hearing the words of her Gurudev, Shachi's joy no knew. God, I'm having a hard time reading. Shachi's joy knew no bounds. Thereafter, freed from all false ego, her body covered only with rags, she went house to house in Vrindavan, begging alms in the fashion of a bumblebee who takes only a little pollen from each flower. It's called madhukari. Not taking too much from any person, just like a bee, just takes a little bit from one flower and another flower and another flower. In this way, she showed the intense renunciation and austerity of a highly advanced devotee. All the devotees in Vrindavan were astonished by her severe renunciation. Gradually, Shachi's body became frail and weak. She grew thin and was covered with soot. Still, she took no notice of her condition and continued following her austere regimen. Physically exhausted from her diligent service, she would sleep on the banks of the Yamuna and then rise again the next day to cleanse the Lord's temple. She would regularly circumambulate some holy places, see the arati of the deity, and listen to the lectures on Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Seeing the intense renunciation of Shachi Devi, Haridas Pandit Goswami's heart was filled with pity. His mercy towards her increased. Smiling, he called Shachi Devi and said to her, "You are a princess, and yet you have made such intense efforts to worship Krishna that seeing your renunciation and austerity in the cause of devotion, I have become supremely happy. Soon I shall give you initiation into the mantra." Haridas Pandit had one disciple named Sri Lakshmi Priya, toward whom he was very affectionate. Just at that time, she arrived in Vrindavan. Sri Lakshmi Priya used to chant 300,000 names of Krishna daily. When she arrived, Haridas Pandit sent her to live near where Shachi Devi performed her daily bhajan on the banks of Radhakund. Taking the order of her guru on her head, Lakshmi Priya went to Radhakund to be with Shachi Devi and help her with her bhajan. Every day, Shachi Devi and Lakshmi Priya would circumambulate Govardhan Hill. In this way, in the company of Lakshmi Priya Devi, Shachi continued her worship of Krishna with great determination, living on the banks of Radhakund, until one day, Haridas Pandit called for her to return. He instructed her to quickly return to Jagannath Puri to continue with her bhajan and to preach what she had learned of Sri Chaitanya's teachings. At that time, almost all of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal associates had gone back to Godhead and had entered into their eternal unmanifest pastimes. Sri Shachi Devi left Vrindavan and returned to Jagannath Puri. On the order of her Gurudev, she went to the house where Sarvabhauma Pandit had once stayed. There she engaged in bhajan and began giving classes on the Śrīmad Bhagavatam. The old house of Sarvabhauma was dilapidated and crumbling. For a long time, no one had lived there. No one remains there to worship the Damodar Shaligram that had once been worshipped by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya himself. There's a Damodar Shaligram there. Shachi Devi established first-class worship of the Shaligram according to the traditional rules and regulations of the Shastra. In order to hear her wonderful Siddhantic interpretations of the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, faithful devotees would come to Sarvabhauma's house day after day. In a short time, her Bhagavatam classes became very famous, and people would come from miles. They'd come from miles around just to hear her. One day, the king of Jagannath Puri, Mukunda Dev, came to hear the Bhagavatam from Shachi Devi. Hearing her original explanations of Siddhanta, the king was completely astounded. He thought to himself that he would like to make an. He thought to himself that he would. Can you hear the cows right now? Anyways, doesn't matter. He thought to himself that he would like to make a nice offering to Shachi Devi out of appreciation for her devotion to Krishna. That night, he had a wonderful dream. Lord Jagannath came to him in his dream and ordered him, "Offer Shachi Devi a place on the banks of the Ganga." The following day, King Mukunda Dev went to Shachi Devi. With great humility, Shachi Devi offered the king a sitting place and asked him the reason for his visit. King Mukunda Dev explained about the vision he had received from Lord Jagannath and how the Lord had instructed him to construct a place by the Ganga for Shachi Devi. Sri Shachi Devi was not disposed to accept any sort of wealth or comfortable situation and wanted to refuse. But the king kept pressing his wishes again and again. At that time, not wanting to violate Lord Jagannath's order, King Mukundadev issued a decree naming a holy ghat by the side of Shweta Ganga, that's white Ganga, after Shachi Devi. The decree let it be known that Śrī Shachi Devi was a princess who had left everything to come to Jagannath Puri and preach the holy gospel of Sri Chaitanya. One day, what time is it? Just looking at the time. Okay, I think we're getting very close to the end though. One day, the day of Mahavaruni Snan approached, and Sri Shachi Devi wanted to go to the Ganga to bathe. But Shachi Devi's Gurudev had forbidden her ever to leave Jagannath Puri. Remembering the order of her Gurudev, Shachi Devi gave up her desire to bathe in the Ganga. That night, Jagannath came to her in a dream and said, Shachi, don't think like that. The day when Varuni will take bath, that day you must go and bathe in the white Ganga, Shweta Ganga in Puri. Ganga Devi has been praying for your association, so you must go to the white Ganga, the Shweta Ganga in Puri. Having had such a divine vision from Jagannath, Shachi Devi was very joyful. The day of Varuni Snan came. In the middle of the night, Shachi Devi went to the Shweta Ganga to bathe. As she bathed at Shweta Ganga, the current of Ganga Devi picked her up and began moving along. The waters of the Ganga overflooded the ponds, and the current ran before her in a flood until she arrived at Jagannath Mandir. Seeing this, thousands and thousands of Dhamvasis in Jagannath Puri became ecstatic and took their bath in the Ganga. The four directions were filled with prayers that were shouted in great ecstasy, and there was a huge commotion. In the midst of great jubilation, everyone bathed in the Ganga. In the midst of the commotion, the guards at the gates of Jagannath Temple awoke. They were speechless at seeing the commotion going on in all directions. Hearing a great noise, they went inside the temple. They began talking loudly amongst themselves. Hearing all the noise, the king had also awakened. Anxious to see that everything was all right, the king ordered the gates to the temple. The king ordered the gates to the temple to be opened. At this, the gates were opened. By some miracle, Shachi Devi was standing there alone inside the temple of Jagannath. The servants and pujaris of Jagannath concluded that she must be a thief who had come to steal the valuable ornaments of Jagannath. Many people said, "This cannot be. There must be some mystery here." Immediately, Shachi Devi was imprisoned in the dungeons to stand trial for theft. Shachi Devi's mind, however, did not become weak or confused. While imprisoned, she absorbed herself in constantly chanting the holy name of Krishna. Later that night, King Mukundadev saw Lord Jagannath in a dream. Jagannath angrily told him, "Immediately release Shachi Devi from your dungeons. It was because I wanted to personally arrange for washing her holy feet that I had the Gangas bring her to my temple. If you want your life to be auspicious, then you had better make the pandas and pujaris bow at her feet and pray for forgiveness. You yourself must take initiation from her." Seeing this in his dream, the king was repentant, and right after taking his bath, he had the pandas and pujaris go to the place where Shachi Devi was being held and immediately release her, falling at her feet and begging for forgiveness. They went there and paid full obeisances, falling down like rods before her feet. The king himself went before Shachi Devi, and with great entreaties, he begged her to forgive him for his offense at the holy feet of a devotee. At that time, he told Shachi Devi of how Lord Jagannath had ordered him to accept her as his guru and take mantra initiation from her. Understanding all these things to be the pastimes of Lord Jagannath, Shachi Devi became extremely joyful. Her heart filled with divine love for Krishna. Placing her hand on the king's head, she gave him her blessings. Soon after this, on the order of Jagannath, on an auspicious day, Shri Shachi Devi initiated King Mukundadev into the 18-syllable Radha Krishna mantra. Along with the king, many pujaris also took shelter of her on that day. From that day forward, Shri Shachi Devi was known as Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī. Okay, this is the last paragraph. One day, a Smarta Brahmin named Mahidara Sharma had come to the banks of the Shweta Ganga to worship his ancestors. Having heard of the glories of Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī, he was eager to have darshan of her holy feet. After showing great respect to the Pandit, Śrī Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī offered him a place to sit. She asked him what his purpose. She asked him what was his purpose in coming. The Brahman Pandit explains the righteous reason for his coming. Seeing his genuine earnestness and piety, Śrī Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī explained the Siddhanta of Śrīmad Bhagavatam to the Brahman. The Brahman Pandit was astonished by her explanations of Śrīmad Bhagavatam and dived and surfaced in the nectar of her ambrosial words. After this, the Pandit Brahman asked her to take shelter at the lotus feet of Gaṅgāmātā. After this, the Pandit Brahman asked to take shelter at the lotus feet of Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī. On an auspicious day, she initiated him into the Radha Krishna mantra of 10 syllables. Mahidara Sharma's birthplace is in Dhananjaypur. On the order of Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī, he preached the message of Nam Prem and the teachings of Gaur Nityananda throughout Bengal. Okay, so that is our reading for today. It's now, what time is it? It's 8:04. So yeah, it says a good place to end. Jai Shri Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī ki jai. Shri Shachi Devi ki jai. Jai Shri Ganga Devi ki jai. Every day at this time, usually like in the middle of my reading, a person comes to milk our cows here, and if the person is even a little bit late, the cows start going crazy, like they start going crazy. They have such like precise internal clocks. It's so interesting. One second, I'm just closing the door. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai, Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai, Jai Srila Param Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Swaparsha Ji Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Jai Shri Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani ki jai. Shri Shachi Devi Gaṅgāmātā Thakurani ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki jai. Shri Ganga Devi ki jai. Ganga Devi's Avirbhav Titi ki jai, Shri Ganga Dashahara ki jai, Ganga Puja ki jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakraju ki jai. Oh, and Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī's Guru Hari, what is it? Hari Das Pandit Goswami ki jai. What was the line again? It was Gadadhar Pandit ki jai. No, who came after Gadadhar Pandit? My God, I have such a bad memory. We just read it. Was it Uddhav Das or something like that? No. One second. Let me just find it. I'll find it. It would take me 1 second. Good. Oh, wait. There. There it is. So Ananta Acharya. Let's say the Guru Parampara. So Shri Ananta Acharya ki say Shri Gadadhar Pandit ki jai, Shri Ananta Acharya ki jai, Shri Haridas Pandit Goswami ki jai, Shri Shachi Devi ki jai, Jai Gaṅgāmātā Gosvāmīnī ki jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakraju ki jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shrinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsidevai, Priyai Keshavashita, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi, Sattvatai Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta, Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Bhagavad-tirtha Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai. All right. So that is our program for today. Dandavat Pranams. Let's see who's there. Rukmini Didi, Sarveshwari Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Chattamai Mataji, Yashoda Didi, Ganga Mataji, my dear brother Krishna Murari, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Vidya Lalasa Didi, I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there, and Rohini Nandan Prabhu, and Oseshwari Mataji, and all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, and Revati Didi, Jayadev Prabhu, and everybody else. Dandavat Pranams, thank you so much for joining. And tomorrow we will continue our reading of Shikshashtakam. We went through Cheto Darpanamajanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Narapanam, and Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Tomorrow we'll be reading about Vidyavadu Jivanam. And I think Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives like 4 verses or something. And then Anandam Buddhi Bharanam. We'll go through that tomorrow. All right. And as I mentioned before, that this beautiful pranam mantra to Ganga Devi, I want to try to memorize it. And as I mentioned, the best way to memorize is to try to teach it. And so this evening, maybe like in 12 hours from now, I'm gonna, right now it's 8:11 a.m. So at 8 p.m., so 12 hours from now, I will go live on here on Zoom and on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm going to do a memorization practice of this verse if anybody's interested in memorizing it. Obeisances to Shri Ganga Devi. It's a bit of a long one, but the meaning is pretty easy, like clear. It's not too complicated in that way. So it'll be easy to memorize, even though it's so long. All right. Thank you so much for joining. See you all tomorrow or this evening. Okay, Haribo. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end today's program?
Thank you,
Yes.
Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Oh, Haribo.
Thank you.
Thank you for I mean, as I've said so many times, I'm so grateful to everybody here because without all of you, I probably wouldn't read. And it's a lot more I think I find that I read better when I read out loud rather than when I just read to myself quickly. I just brush through things but it's a lot more thorough when I read it out loud. So yeah, you're all helping me so much. Right, thank you. Right. Okay, Jai Shri Radhe.